Hey, it's Empress Rose here, and welcome to our collective reading for the week. I'm looking at my scrying ball, and I'm seeing a couple different things. One, there's like a moving ball of light through it. And then two, on top of that, or I don't know, part of that, is a snake, dragon, alligator, crocodile thing with its mouth open. In a very defensive mode. So, not the sad bunny this time. So, I found that these scrying ball messages are just for one or two people. But who knows? We won't try to tell the scrying ball who it has to be for and what it's about. We'll just let it do its thing. All right. So, we're going to start off with some oracle cards. Oh, I see. We're going to start off with these oracle cards. This is the Dreamweaver's Oracle from Colette Baron Reed. I think it's her latest offering. All right. I think this one wants to come out. We'll see if another one wants to jump out. Yeah, it doesn't look like a happy snake drinking serpent. And the ball of light is really interesting. It's not something I've seen before in there. All right, here we have time to dance around the sun. So a celebration, could be a birthday. Nothing's looked more like a Leo's birthday than this. We have the sphinxy thing, lionish thing, holding the sun. So time to dance around the sun. Something coming to completion, something to celebrate, which is interesting. Oh my gosh, it's really interesting because this is basically what I'm seeing in the ball, right? This moving orb of light through the ball, and then similar mouth, similar to me anyway, as far as this. It's like right superimposed on the moving ball right now. So time to dance around the sun, a celebration, right? It's like a birthday. I also see like a cyclical nature of something, coming back to where you started, coming back to a new place, having grown, circling back around to something. What I'm seeing is like the orbit, completing the orbit, completing a year, celebrating some sort of completion of something, celebrating a completed cycle. And, just like the spiral, we're right back where we started, but we're also different. We're also a year older. We're also wiser. So I think there could be something that you come back around to when you're victorious or successful when you deal with it this time. Like you've learned enough, you've been through this enough times that you know how to break out of the cycle and get up to the next level. So I feel like there's a celebration. There's a celebration here around that. Maybe it's a private celebration that you yourself are just excited about, but there is some sort of completion, successful completion. Weavers share their magic tea. Oh, I don't know how much I've interacted with this card before, but it seems like wisdom passed down. A vision. This almost seems like a vision from higher up. Maybe if you work for a company with multiple layers, you're receiving some sort of vision from the higher ups. This could be visionary wisdom passed down through the ages, I see sort of a generational sharing here. And there could be something about literally a tea or a beverage here, or sharing of a beverage. It almost has like a 3 of Cups vibe. Well, we have 3 cups here. So this, which would be celebration energy as well, sharing with friends and family. Magic tea reminds me of mushroom tea, which can be very eye-opening revelations. like beets or radishes here. Something underneath, seeing something underneath the surface. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. All right. So we have play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. With the Three of Cups vibe and the birthday party vibe here, don't be celebrate just seems like we're just getting like repetitious messages, which are of course like validating and just underscoring the message, just in case we didn't get it with the first one, or in case you wanted to ignore it. So here we have the sun again, right up here, very prominently featured in both of these. We have cups again, right here. We have another cup. This is a champagne cup. She's basically like hanging out in a champagne hot tub here. So yeah, have fun, celebrate, rest. Play can also be detaching from outcomes, not needing to know where something's going in order to enjoy it. Not just being comfortable with uncertainty, but in a way, could we possibly revel in the uncertainty? I don't know. And not knowing. Yeah, celebrating an achievement here. That's basically what I'm seeing in all three of these cards together, taken together. I mean, each has their own individual unique meaning that we can like enjoy, but and get a lot out of. But what I'm seeing here, these three together, is that, and I do think there's beverages involved. Now, they don't have to be alcoholic beverages or even high calorie beverages. It's just, there's something very effervescent about what's going on here. Celebrating, like, you know, we can't wait to celebrate until everything is known, because that will never happen. So we're going to celebrate along the way, I feel like. And there could be an intergenerational celebration. It does look like a party of some kind. And maybe it's a party of one, party of two, party of three, maybe multiple. We're seeing this more flying cat business here. Wow, I love these cards. All right, okay, we're getting a little serious here. Oh wait, no, your dreams need a practical plan. 4 moon in Taurus. Well, I saw that Taurus and I was like, grounded energy. Let's bring it down. So, it's okay to be lazy, or maybe it's not. You got to be a little bit practical here. I think there might be some plans afoot, making some plans for something, to celebrate something. Getting organized, making your to-do list. Figuring out the nuts and bolts of something. Maybe you're celebrating, but you know, when you have an accomplishment or an achievement, you celebrate it, and then almost immediately thereafter, you're like, okay, well now, or, you know, you have your good news, and then you're like, okay, well, how are we going to celebrate this? Who am I inviting? Where is it going to be? Where am I going to host this party? What are we going to do? Like, so, you know, your dreams need a practical plan. If you want to celebrate something, plan that party. Maybe we all need a little encouragement to celebrate something. Maybe we're being, you know, told we'll be celebrating something. Maybe we can celebrate something, but be practical, make sure everyone's got a ride home if there is a lot of liquid or other substances involved, if we're talking magic tea. But being really practical with that. And then break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So it does seem like you might be coming out of some sort of isolation or some sort of privacy. This whole celebration, sharing magic tea, dancing around the sun, playing. There is something here that I guess it could be a solo endeavor. Well, yeah, I mean, having your magic tea alone, but is very powerful, right? But sharing the magic tea and then breaking the chain, healing. Honestly, if you have an opportunity to have a little like mushroom tea, I would say go for it, because we're going to do some healing, some rewriting, rewiring of the ancestral patterns. But I also think it's just like going out. Really, look, you're outside your house. You're going out. Wow, okay, apparently we want to talk about going out. Tarot's like, let's go out. Let's have some fun. Let's celebrate. Very cool. In a very practical way, we're going to celebrate. All right, one more shuffle on this deck, the tarot deck. All right. Let's see where we go. I love this. This whole part was so uplifting because the scrying ball was a little bit scary. Not scary. And then once this came out, it was like, is that what? That seems to be a little bit of what I'm seeing. All right. Bottom of the deck, death card, transformation, change. A lot of decks call this a death and rebirth card because it has to do with emergence, right? We have the moth here. The moth too goes in. It's very Silence of the Lambsy though, like, right? Makes me think that there's like a secret transformation, a subterranean, which is what the cocoon is. It's a secret transformation. It's a very private transformation. We have the spider web, and you know how spiders almost create cocoons for their prey too. There might be a sense that we weren't sure whether this was a cocoon that we made ourselves or a cocoon that a spider put us in so that it could, you know, slowly siphon off our life. Or so there could be something about that, the transformation, the change, not knowing. And I think there's a lot of uncertainty. Not being able to see what the transformation is or will be, knowing that there's transformation, there are changes afoot. I think it's for your growth and freedom in the end, but it doesn't necessarily feel that way. And I don't know which stage, we'll see with the rest of the cards, but which stage of this death and rebirth we're talking about. Like, this moth seems very rebirthy. It seems to be talking more about that. It's emerging with some struggle from what possibly felt like a trap. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. There we go. I kept seeing the devil card with the death card and trying to like sort them out. And so it did show up here, which felt, I don't know, validating. In the recent past, we have the Tower card. So a bit of a crisis, shake up. Someone's been deposed or dispossessed, or this is all for your benefit, but there's lightning, there's structural collapse, the structural integrity of different parts of your life, of where you've been. You've already been through the tower, okay? Well, we've all been through multiple towers at this point. Sometimes it seems like the towers get bigger as we get older, but I don't necessarily think that's not true. But because young children can experience some of the biggest towers they will ever experience in their entire life as children. So, and in fact, there seems to be some way in which there was a leap in, I want to say, growing up fast in this situation. Pretty shocking surprise. I just feel like this old self discarded here, this old smaller self, and there was this sense of having to become larger, and who you were had to go away. This feels like an internal tower, possibly experienced with an external tower, but just having to take on a lot. And some part of you may have been inadequate to do that, so you had to strengthen yourself and grow in order to take on and be able to absorb some of this shocking and absorb a shock. And maybe you've been a shock absorber for others too. But this is about something, this is about a tower or some sort of crisis that happened in the past. Your current situation is the Lovers. You have choices and decisions to make. The Lovers too, though, are sort of drawn to each other, but will they follow that path? Will they go towards each other? Or will they separate? Are they coming together or going apart? The Lovers represents choices that our heart brings us. This person that's been through this trauma has this opportunity, right? I see this as the same person right here. This opportunity to do something that they love, to continue doing something that they love, to make the choice, a very conscious choice, right? We're always making choices, but we're not, I mean, it would drive us crazy if we were absolutely, literally, consciously aware of every choice that we make every day, because they're pretty much constant. But this is a very intentional choice, or this is asking you to look very intentionally at a choice. And with this card too, there's this divine guidance, there's this vibing with something. The information all looks like it's coming together, and yet there's hesitancy on both sides. Like, these flowers aren't touching. These two aren't together. They could be. There's opportunity there. There's a place for them to meet. But there's still distance. There's still more decisions to be made about which way to go. Hopes, fears, inner landscape. What's on your mind? Page of materials. This is a real child. This can be a real child. So this is, or a beginner, someone who's just learning something, but it's a very physical learning. So the page of materials to me can be a child that's involved, that's really on somebody's mind, either a child in existence, a desired child. I always see the page of materials as a real child. That's a real person. Or in other ways, we can also think of it as the metaphorical child, which is just like somebody who's new to some sort of physical thing, a new employee, a new mentor, a new mentee, a new intern, a new, anyone that's occupying that space of just being new to some sort of physical world. So I tend to think of it as a child. But this one is visioning something. They're very new. They know they're visioning where they want to go, and they've seen something, and they're visioning how they want to accomplish, what they could be. I see this too as like, I'm hearing chip off the old block. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And with this familial intergenerational stuff over here, it just seems like maybe there's something about that as well. And the ancestral patterns hanging out here. So we've already talked on perhaps some ancestry. And that feels like, or descendancy. And that feels like something that's happening with this page of materials. Like someone is maybe even thinking about having a child, hoping to have a child, or just thinking about the welfare of a child, or even like a new person. And maybe this is you wanting to learn a new skill, wanting to learn new things. Maybe you found something. So reading this, there's been sort of this crisis. It's caused you to go searching for answers or something, and the tower could also be like a breakup that's happened, or a job loss, but now you see something that you love, and you may be wanting to learn more about it, start a physical thing, start some sort of physical new reality. get a job in this field that you've discovered that you love so much. Maybe you got like, I could see it in multiple different ways. Maybe you got fired or laid off. You found something now that really is calling your heart, even more so than this last thing, than the thing before. And you're wanting to, begin something in reality. This could also be having met someone and wanting to have a child with them, that kind of thing. What's at issue here is the Empress in reverse. I want to say sort of barren, like not able to create a new world, wanting to create a new world, wanting to do this, to create, but not having been successful at it, not having, not feeling like you have what you need, not feeling abundant, not feeling like you have enough, maybe enough to share with, a child or to start this new project, feeling broke, feeling, the opposite of the Empress card to me is like the Five of Pentacles card, which is sort of like poverty focus and seeing what you don't have, which is important. It's important to take stock and see what we have and see what we don't have. So, but this would be feeling inadequate, feeling unsuccessful, and not just feeling unsuccessful. There could be a very real project here with the Page of Pentacles in here, but the Page of Pentacles is kind of in your head. There could be a real project or real something that just hasn't been successful yet, or hasn't been abundant. There's been some lacking. I almost want to say possibly debt, possibly yeah. All right, that's all we wanted to say about that. Okay, in your environment, we have Ten of Materials. So there's, this is interesting because if you're in this place, there's a lot of like wealth. And again, Ten of Materials is often inheritance card, family inheritance, retirement party. To me, it's pulling out the intergenerational aspects that we've already talked about, this ancestral patterns, the weavers sharing their magic tea. This is like all ages, and typically we see sort of an estate and descendants and legacy ideas and being able to pass stuff down. But either way, there's a lot of abundance. And Ten of Pentacles, or Ten of Materials here, same stuff, but there's somebody here, or there is a situation in which there's plenty. There is an abundance of money and resources, and but it's not just about money. There's a family community aspect too to Ten of Pentacles. Other than like the Sun card, I think of it as one of the most successful, happiest cards in the deck. It's very, some sort of job is completed. 10 is a completion card. And so like in a way there's this party here, completion, work is completed, could be a retirement party, could be celebrating a life, celebrating a fully lived life, not one cut short, but a fully lived life. There's a lot of abundance here in the environment. There's plenty to go around. No one need be excluded from this abundance. It's a very abundant card, which is really interesting because the Empress in reverse would be a lack of abundance or not feeling very abundant, when in fact there is so much abundance around you. You may be excluded from the abundance, but there is a lot of abundance around you. Seven of Emotions, decisions that need to be made. Sitting under the Lovers card, this is really interesting because it's almost a mini Lovers card here. Like the Lovers involves like a choice that needs to be made about direction, about connection, about... I think there's just like a consciousness that that happens with the Lovers card. It's not... And this tarot reading is trying to, I think, bring you into some sort of conscious awareness of the choices. And then this is the process of making the choice. The Seven of Emotions can also be like overthinking a choice, making your to-do list. This would be like the dreams need a practical plan. Like this could be like making decisions you know, something could be a really intuitive decision, but we're overthinking it. But this is in your to-do list. So I would say, like, make the pro-con list, make a spreadsheet if you want, give things, weight your values by percentages and do some calculating. It's about taking an intellectual approach to a intuitive heart space decision. But really doing pro cons and really thinking it through as a to-do list. You know, sometimes it can come in as a warning, don't overthink it. But this can be like, if there was a time to overthink something, this might be it. So really, really think about it, really look at the details of the situation, really understand it, inspect it, spend some time thinking, especially since the Lovers is causing us to look at being really intentional with a choice. The Seven of Emotions is in a way like, go ahead and overthink this. It's fine. Especially if you have a Tower, if whatever this topic is about, some sort of transformation, if this is about relationships or work or something, or even a Ten of Materials would indicate all of the above, this would be like, you know, you do have cause to be cautious. You do have cause to really think it through. So looking at all of your options, so yeah, we started this sort of reading with this sort of idea that we weren't, you know, it would be very difficult to be absolutely fully conscious and aware of all of the decisions we make every day, all day. And this one is, though, encouraging you to really inspect some decision here, because something's changing and transforming, something where you've experienced a crisis in the past, which is going to be every aspect of your life at some point. Is really, really do think about it, that you don't have to just follow your instinct or make a snap decision. Do think about it. And so then we have the Devil card here. This can be contracts, things that are easy to get into, rules, regulations, easy to get into, difficult to get out of, like a marriage, any kind of contract though. And we might celebrate those contracts, you know, with dancing around the sun and playing and celebration. There's so much celebration. There is a sense of sharing here, too, with these joys. But the Devil can be, you know, or having to deal with contracts. So maybe you're going to sign a contract, but, you know, we have Devils into the details, which is Seven of Emotions next to the Devil card really points out, is like, look at those details. If you are given a contract this week and you want to sign it, you need to really, really look at it, really, really read it, see what it says, consider several options, get a couple quotes before you sign up for something. So this could end in a contract, which would transform the situation. But I think what we're saying with the Seven Emotions might be slow something down a little bit so you can read the fine print and just be very aware of what you're getting into. The Devil, the contract, can be very exciting, but it can also be at some point very difficult to deal with. So we do want contracts, obligations. Maybe you want strings attached. This reminds me like of a musician signing a recording contract, which is all very exciting at the beginning, and then you hear a lot of them talk as things go on. They become more and more difficult to deal with, and difficult to get out of. You know, and yet at the same time, it's this dream, it's this exciting thing. So yeah, look at the pro-con list for sure here. Don't jump into something. And yet we do have the celebration. All right, finishing up with a little prayer here from our Wild Kuan Yin Oracle deck. Blessing bestowed. Again, the celebration of something. I think it's overall, I'm getting the vibe like celebrate, but don't get ahead of yourself, right? Your dreams need a practical plan. Be very practical about this, but there is something to celebrate. There's no end to the Divine Mother's ingenuity and grace. No obstacle can obstruct her generosity and protection. So get used to the feeling of the joy of knowing something truly precious is going to unfold in your life. Nurture that feeling like you would the readiness for spring in your heart. When winter is upon you, you know it is coming and you anticipate it with such pleasure. So you know it's coming. That's an interesting thing too. And then part of this, though, is illuminating this. You may want a new job. You may be looking for a new job. Carefully consider your options. You may get the contract, but you do need to take some care and be very practical about some things. Yeah, and that matches with the Empress in reverse too. So whatever you might be working for has a lot of money. There's a lot of jobs out there. There's a lot of money out there to be made, or there's something. Ten of Materials can also be inheritance, though. The Page of Materials. So you will be getting something, you know it's coming and you anticipate it with such pleasure. I think there's like, sometimes I have, prayed for something or asked for something, and then as this morning I was asking the universe for something, and then I opened my email after that, and the blessing had already been bestowed an hour or two before I had asked the universe for confirmation on this, for this blessing. It had already gone through. And so sometimes and that's not the first time that's happened where I've asked for something, a sign or something like that, and it's already been on its way for a while now. And there's some sort of like meeting of the synapses, when we're thinking, our mind is like doing some sort of electrical shock on one side and electrical shock on the other, and then they come together and they have this little synapse where we have a thought and a realization. So sometimes I think it's that way with the universe, where what we want is actually already on its way towards us, and there's some sort of need for us to want that, and it's already on the way, and that's why we're wanting it suddenly, is it's already coming. So I think that that's a little bit of what I'm getting from this. It is coming and you anticipate it with such pleasure. So what you want in this case appears to be coming towards you. Maybe even it's coming towards you before you even know you want it. So anyway, blessing bestowed, that there does seem to be something to celebrate here, but do be practical about it. So anyway, very lovely, awesome reading. I'm excited to see how this plays out for us, and have a lovely, wonderful week. Bye, babes.